Let's go. So we're back here again in the skybox. I was thinking about what I was going to do, and I put up a poll where I asked you guys, would you like Legacy United to be alternating weeks or one continuous lap? And you guys said alternating. And that was my fuck up because I didn't have a video ready to roll in case the overwhelming majority said, let's go alternating. So I decided to revisit a video that you guys seemed to quite enjoy when I did it nearly a year ago. I'm sorry, alright, it's been a year. It's been a year of all time. I decided to revisit the figures I used to own. If you watched that last one, you know how this goes. I just talk about a bunch of random figures that I've owned in the past. Starting with Fall of Cybertron Blaster. So this was my default blaster from 2014 because I missed out on the Universe one. I don't think I could find one. And yeah, this guy was my collection default until Kingdom, I believe. He was fine for what he was. He was fine as like a random offshoot blaster, but even as the Fall of Cybertron one, I wasn't convinced. He just felt too big and awkward. And the Doom v Hummer alt mode was fun. It didn't quite do enough in any direction. I went as far as buying the cassettes for this guy, and that's one of them that's a waste of money, because it's just a fucking waste of money. I don't regret getting rid of this guy at all. So this Warpath, I think I might still have it, or it's... Either way, it's going. If it's not already gone, it's going. And it's just, he's really cool, but he's very much a relic of an era that has long since passed. I talk about the 2010s like it's the fucking 1980s, but it's a very distinct stylish aesthetic compared to the modern stuff, and he just doesn't quite go with it, which is a sad fact of it, because aside from that, he's really cool. And I've messed with a repaint of the Kingdom one, and it doesn't quite scratch the same itch that this one does. The spring-loaded missile can still fuck off, though. Oh, we're getting into the good ones, so movie Lockdown, somewhat topical. I can't remember if I had the movie one or the Hasbro one or the Takara one. Just not a very good figure. The only saving grace about this figure is that he had the big fuck-off gun that you can see, and it could plug into his head so he could form the gun face as seen in the movie. That's it. Alt mode was alright, figure not so much. It's barely a shade on the Studio Series, which is saying a lot given we need probably an updated Studio Series Lockdown at this point. Fuck it. Oh, you're getting a twofer here, so we'll start with the Voyager. So Voyager Grimlock, this thing was just weirdly built. He had the gigantic mace accessory, could not hold it at its actual hilt. He had to have a separate handle come off, which you can see. It just went over the tail to make a super long tail, and it was shit. The kibble wasn't the best. The colours were nowhere near what they should have been. I just remember him being just a very weird design. I think one of the only saving graces about this guy was he had ankle tilts, but they weren't particularly good. And annoyingly enough, he was a Voyager while all the rest were deluxes. And then in the same year, as part of a twofer, they did the leader class. Now this leader class was just fucking bizarre. The proportions were all over the place. The articulation left a lot to be desired. The accuracy just wasn't there. It had a lot of chrome pieces, which I didn't hate, but at the same time it just wasn't relevant. And I can't remember who it was that made the joke when it come out. If you held him by the head and held up the dinosaur mode, it did look like a fish. It just looked like a cut of fish because it was that long and just not good. Not very good. I don't miss him in any capacity. But this is also part of the reason I got rid of him before I got rid of the Voyager, because in 2014 we got a Voyager Grimlock, a Leader Grimlock, and the other three Dinobots as deluxes. I'm not counting the concept ones, just the ones that appeared in the movie. 2017, we get a repaint of Voyager Grimlock, we get a repaint of Deluxe Slug, and we get a new Voyager Scorn, which I fucking love that figure. 2018, we get Leader Class Grimlock in Studio Series Wave 1. Figure's good. I like it. I can't get rid of it anyway because it was an engagement gift from my wife. But then nothing else happened. It's why I got to the point where I put down a fucking bet about the Deep Fried Optimus. You know, it's a fucking pledge for me. I want these Dinobots to have a complete unit. Now we're in the prospect of, they're doing Titans every year, or Titan Commander alternating every year. And I'm like, I'm in on it. I'm up for it. Please just fucking do it this time. The Dinobots deserve a little bit more respect. They deserve more respect in the movie, but ultimately this is what we got. The original Age of Extinction Takara Galvatron. The paint apps were nice on this one, and that's about all it had going for it. He had posability in the most brazen sense imaginable. He didn't have knees so much as he had bendable thighs. and you couldn't really articulate them that far because of the kibble. And I think he was one of these where you could have the truck separate to the robot if you unpinned it all. The Studio Series 1 come and just absolutely fucking put it in the bin. And I'm glad, because this one just didn't do it. The only thing this one gets a pass for is the gun is that much more menacing. Also, the original Hasbro release is an unforgivable use of unpainted grey. Just wanted you to know. '07 Swindle. So at TFN just gone, I mean, granted, I can't remember when this is going to drop, but of this year's TFN, this was one of those, he didn't make it onto my list, but he was like, if I see him for cheap, I'm going to get him. I saw one mint in box, 20 quid, which isn't a stretch, but I do want to go back and eventually get my hands on this, because this was the first figure I got when I first got back into collecting in 2007. Roughly 18 years ago. I had £10 spare out of my lunch money. I went into town and I bought one, and I didn't pick which one it was because it was in Argos. If anyone remembers going shopping for something like this in Argos, you can ask to look, or you just punch in a code and then you bring something out. And that's it. And yeah, I would like to get my hands on this guy again, just purely for nostalgic purposes. I'm not sure whatever became of him. I think he was just wear and tear, because the wings, the doors on the arms, clips are clear plastic. So it's just a case of waiting for them to go. And I lost his hands because I donated them to '07 Thundercracker because, yeah, fucking of course I did. '07 Landmine. This was one of those figures that's just, he's delightful. He's fucking great. Unfortunately, the head broke on mine, so I had him on display on the shelf. I think I had the Prime Megatron, because at this point I wasn't distinct about where stuff was. I just mashed it all in together. I had the Prime Megatron stood with him in front of him, like crushing his head in his hand. And it looked alright, but it's been longer since I've seen that figure with its head in person than I ever owned the figure with the head. Because this came out in 2008, and that was about 2013 I had to display him like that. And I don't even know where the head went. I don't know if he fell and that's what happened. I don't know if I moved him. I don't know. I did have one of the repaints of this, because this was one of those '07 figures that just, I don't think anyone hated. And if you did, why? '07 Blackout. I think this might have been my second Voyager. This was what I was really excited for. And then I got it in hand and realised, oh no, it's shit. It's just too small. This, I think part of the reason why he was one of the first Studio Series figures was because his original Voyager was that underwhelming, because it's small. I'm not as bothered about a figure being big, but if it's a character like Blackout, it's the same with animated Lugnut. They are meant to be the fucking biggest motherfuckers on the field, but as a toy they get the smallest, and it just fucking winds me up. I'm glad we got the Studio Series 1. Also, this one misaligned. The gears is supposed to have an automorph gimmick where you pulled the legs down, and as you did it, the central cockpit rotated round to reveal the head. It misaligned and it never worked, and it was my first ever experience with modifying a figure, because I would go in, unscrew it, realign the gears, and then they just undo it, and it fucking annoyed me. Generations Black Shadow. This was a repaint / retool of Thunderwing. I don't really remember much about this guy other than I remember getting him. We'd go and pick this up from the post office in the city for some reason. I don't know. Sorry, I've took antihistamines, but I'm struggling today. And he was cool. He was fun. He had the little drone accessory. He primarily had the colours down. He just looked really fucking good. Yeah, in this colour scheme, he just popped to fuck. He was really nice. Universe Acid Storm, my only encounter with that classic Seeker mold. He's alright. I don't think he quite compares to the Siege one and the MP, which I owned at another point, but I'll get to him in another one of these if I ever do one. I think he was fine. I remember I broke mine because I saw a pin for the front of the cockpit that ends up on the nose cone. I thought, oh, that opens, and I tried to fucking open it and yanked it off. I did that a couple of times before I kind of realised as a young adult, like, wait a fucking minute. Like, I ended up getting rid of him when I got the MP, and then I got rid of the MP when I got Siege, but he was fine. It's a fine mould. It's apparently such a fine mould they had to reuse it for the Earthrise Seeker. But let's not talk about that today. Let's instead talk about Universe Sunstreaker. I am, of course, inspired to mention him following my anecdote with the lady at TFN. I didn't hate this. This was like one of my first classics Autobots. I think this might have been the first one. He was good. He was a bit unwieldy and a bit big and a bit disproportionate in the grand scheme of things, but I really liked him. I don't know how Sideswipe would have fared. I like the current one that I've got, so I don't really miss him all that much, but he was good. I look at him and I see comfort. I look at him and I get nostalgic feelings of my very early teenage years trying my hand at stop motion and not being very good at it. And if I'm not mistaken, that is it. I don't mind doing these little fucking stints down memory lane. They're fun. We're having a refresher in... It's something we've all been through. I'd like to think we've all lost a figure, we've all moved figures on, and etc, etc. I'm now going to retire and start working on another video. I just wanted to do this because you guys asked for alternating and I didn't have anything ready to go. If you guys like this, usual shit, let me know. We'll see about doing another one at some point, whenever that'll be. And yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.